What's up, guys? Welcome to Yours Avenue. My name is Darren, and today is kind of a weird day because not much to talk about. Kind of a regular day. Nothing broke. Nothing I could think of. Psych! Spider-Man, of course, there's something to talk about. Breaking news, right? Everyone is talking about this feud with Sony and Disney Marvel. So if you haven't heard, Sony and Disney could not come to an agreement with what they're going to do with Spider-Man because negotiations definitely did not fall through with the current franchise. And I'm just going to read the report here, and this report's coming from Deadline. And here's what happened. So, report says this: Disney asked that future Spider-Man films be a 50-50 co-financing arrangement between the studios, and there were discussions that this might extend to other films in the Spider-Man universe. Sony turned that offer down flat. Sources said that Sony, led by Tom Rothman and Tony Vinciquerra, came back with other configurations, but Disney didn't want to do that. But Sony did not want to share its biggest franchise. Sure, Disney would be putting up half the funding, but the risk is in how much you are going to make back in profit. Disney wasn't at all interested in continuing the current terms where Marvel receives in the range of 5% of the first dollar gross. And continuing in this article, it also mentions that Marvel also currently gets all merchandise revenue from Spider-Man. So I think that's a lot. I think the merchandise is a lot of money as well. I think asking for 50-50 is a huge ask for Disney. But according to this article, it seems like Sony wasn't even interested in negotiating that. I would say like at least like give them 10%. I mean, it's a small piece of the pie for what they've done. They were able to do and do for the franchise. I mean, Spider-Man is Sony's biggest grossing I believe movie right now, and so they did so much for them. And why wouldn't they increase it just so they can get more business, right? But no, Sony wants to prove to everyone that they could still be successful without Spider-Man, and they could just rely on just Venom and Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. I mean, with the recent rumors that they're gonna do a spin-off with Gwen Stacy from the Spider-Man into Spider-Verse, it tells me that Sony's really confident right now, right? And it's a huge shame because it's a huge it puts a lot of holes in the current MCU right now, and it makes things a lot more difficult in that aspect. And moving forward in the future, I could see a lot of maneuvering around that a lot of these screenplays are going to have to do to avoid even mentioning Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was a key character in Infinity War, right? And he played a key part in Tony's last arc. And it's such a shame that MCU will be if this is it, moving forward, they can't really mention him because that's a Sony property at this point. And it would just be kind of odd that they're not going to be mentioning Spider-Man, where everyone is talking about who he will be the next Iron Man, right? And it's we will never see that again, or we'll never even hear about that. And of course, with this, we will never see Spider-Man in any MCU movie, and in any Sony movie as well. I don't expect Sony to make another Spider-Man movie, like a solo Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, just because if he appears, that means he's part of the MCU, so they can't do that at all. I think the very least that he could do is appear in a Venom movie, maybe. But I don't even know if they're gonna do that as well. But along with this story, I made a list of how this affects everything else, right? How it affects the MCU and how it affects future storylines, what we've kind of hoped for, right? So here's my list. So if Ironheart, who is Riri Williams in the comic books, who is supposedly the next Iron Man, if she is supposed to, come out of this in an MCU, she won't have a relationship with Spider-Man, regardless of how close Spider-Man was with Iron Man and how obsessed she is with Iron Man. They will never cross paths, and that's a huge shame, and I feel like that's a missed opportunity, right? And it sucks. And also with this, we will never see Spider-Man in the new Avengers, or we'll never see him interact with the new Fantastic Four or the new X-Men as well. Huge bummer, especially as a comic book fan. Spider-Man is a key player in the Marvel comics in general, right? And he plays a huge part in every group. And I remember in the cartoons and the comic books that Spider-Man was able to bring that lighter tone to every time he was ever featured, and it was always a fun time, right? And we'll never see that. It sucks, and we will never know. Spoiler alert if you haven't watched Far From Home or Endgame. We will never know what comes out of the identity reveal in Far From Home, and we will never know how we may never know how MCU addresses it, or if they even will address it, right? I don't even know if that will happen, because if you reference Spider-Man, you're referencing Sony, and that I feel like that crosses paths, and that's a huge no-no. And so, what they're gonna do? Like, are they gonna just I don't know. Like, I don't even know how they're gonna do that. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. I can't even come up with an answer. And what are they gonna do with the live action Miles Morales that they've been building up? Is he still in the universe? Like, is there a Miles Morales out there that's gonna get bit by a spider still? Like, what's going on with that? And also, what are they gonna do with the Sinister Six, right? That they've been building up to this point. Is the Sinister Six still gonna happen in the Sony universe, or what's gonna happen? Like they've been building up the Sinister Six since the first Tom Holland Spider-Man movie in Homecoming, and yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Maybe Sony's plan is to build the Sinister Six with the solo villains. I don't know. I mean, they do have that vampire one that's coming out. Forgot what it's called. They got that one coming out with Jared Leto, and then they already have Venom, and I don't know what else that they're gonna do. I feel like Sony's. I feel like they're struggling. I feel like they're having a hard time building up to the Sinister Six. I feel like they should just come out with the Sinister Six movie and just be done with it if they really want to. And we will never see the last arc of Peter's story. I mean, Homecoming was him as a kid, and then Far From Home was him being his own man and him not needing anyone else's help, and that he could do things his own way, and just being a man. And he eventually becomes the Spider-Man we know and love. And then the last Spider-Man movie was supposed to explore him back in New York, and then I heard rumors that he was supposed to fight against multiple villains, and we will never see how that plays out. And it would have been really interesting, right? And the last point is, because Spider-Man won't be in the MCU anymore, and we will never see a Tom Holland solo movie anymore. This does mean we could get a Tom Holland Spider-Man feature in the Venom movie, right? Like I mentioned earlier. So that's a huge plus for all the Venom boys out there. Everyone that's rocking the Venom shirts and all that. That is a possibility. Oh yeah, one last thing. We'll never know if Happy will ever get back with Aunt May. So everyone that was excited for that, we'll never know how that comes out. But yeah, huge bummer. Huge bummer. Everyone is talking about it right now on the internet, that this huge bomb that just was just released on the internet after the huge success from Far From Home, right? It's unbelievable. It's like coming from a really great vacation with your mom and dad, and then you come home and they tell you that they're having a divorce. It's like what's going on? Like we just had a great time together. How can you do this to me? Oh man, I'm gonna miss the times that we had together. And man, cue the Boyz II Men music right now. Just cue it. Just play End of the Road. Just put me out of my misery. This is so sad, so sad. Because I really love Tom Holland as Spider-Man. I'm sure you guys all know how much I love Far From Home. That movie was so good. I give that movie a 10 out of 10. Man, huge bummer. I really do hope that they are able to come to a conclusion. Man, you gotta negotiate, man. You can't just like leave things open ended like that. Bad for business, right? Bad for business. And I mean, if Sony feels like they have what it takes now to build a successful franchise, then so be it. Let them do what they want with it, because I'll tell you right now that it's not gonna work out. It's not gonna work out, and they're gonna regret it. And then maybe 10 years down the line, they're like, hey, maybe let's go back to that contract or that deal we have with Marvel and Disney. Let's go back to that and let's see what Tom Holland's doing, because it's been 10 years later. Maybe they could do a Logan style story for Spider-Man when that negotiation comes back up in like 10 years later down the line, after Sony realized that they fucked up. Right? So I don't know. It's crazy. I'm sure we're gonna be following this story as it comes out, but I want to know your guys' thoughts on this. What do you guys think about this story? Let me know in the comments below. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you guys again. Bye.